Welcome everyone! My videos these days are not produced as fast as I would like to, but they are time consuming to make, and despite my work, I also had a few epic fights which I had to focus on. I hope you do understand. Just for the information also, on map 1164, Mr. Deutsche Steve from Mustangs has only one base left, which I'm leaving as my cherry on the cake. I hope you do like my 50 bombers, Mr. Deutsche Steve. Okay, in today's video, I will be reviewing Hortens 229. I have selected a few attacks on different base defenses, so you can see what they can do. In this video, I'm using 26 Hortens, and based on that quantity, I will be presenting you the data. I picked a few bases with random amount of flux, and I was just measuring the time of how quickly they go down. This part of the video is more of precaution for the new guys who don't use gold and they building only a few flux. Remember, if you are not a gold player, build as many flux as possible, otherwise you are a very easy target. And it is always the easy targets picked as first. It is like in this joke story. There was a group of tourists on walking safari and they had one handicapped person. All of a sudden they've noticed a lion is running towards them, so they all started to run, including the handicapped person. At some point the person at front shouted, "Don't worry, it will eat the handicapped first." And then the handicapped replied, "No, he will eat whoever he wants." Whether it is nature or the game, the same rules apply. Personally, if I see a full first row of flux, I usually leave that and I'm looking for a weaker one. But if I see only a few, I'm just gonna grab them straight away. Going back to my numbers. So, base with 2 flux level 1 is going down in about 5 seconds. Base with 4 flux level 1 is going down in about 9 seconds. Base with 11 flux level 1 is going down in 29 seconds. And base with 15 flux level 1 is going down in about 30 seconds. Now, if you go against a Flak level 2 or level 2 with a long range, you will be able to take just 2 flux, and it will take you about 1 minute. Very important note, as there is a common misconception about Flak level 2 and level 3. Okay, so the level 3 gives you only long range, and that's it. It won't improve your armor. Only level 2 is your 10 times armor. Therefore, whether it is level 2 on its own or level 2 and level 3, the damage will be taken the same. I did actually find a base with level 3 only, so like a long range only flux, and it went down as quickly as a normal level 1 flux. This is just to prove my claim, and you can see it towards the end of the video. Going back to the Hortens, they are stealth and they are fast. Speed 9 in the game, which is the fastest in the game. Only jets got the same speed. They are also very powerful against ground unit, but their main objective is obviously the base defense. Now, using those Hortens on the ground units, although they are clearing the troops very quickly, but I think it is gonna be a very expensive way to clear off the other troops. That will be enough of good stuff, and I will have to tell you the bad stuff. And the bad stuff about these planes is actually just one. They are crazy expensive in general. And I mean, they are probably the most expensive units in the game, and that is not only for the production but also their usage. Going straight to raw data, here you go some numbers. As a reminder, I'm giving you this data based on my 26 planes in this video. Let's start from the production value and time. To make 26 Hortens, I needed 49, like nearly 50 million of steel and nearly 500 million of aluminium. Production time is 10 hours per plane. I mean, the production time for this plane is basically a polite version of asking you to use gold. I don't think there is anyone in this game who actually waited for 10 hours to produce one, unless they didn't care. Obviously they could just click it. Then we go to fuel consumption. If you have just one or two, this is probably not really noticeable. But if you have 26, then to fly for 1 minute, it will cost you 4.3 million of fuel. To give you some perspective, to fly from west end of the map to the east end of the map, it will take just over 2 minutes. That is nearly 10 million of fuel. So if you want to help your friend attacking the base on the other end of the map, you will probably get there quicker than breeders from neighboring base, but the round trip will cost you about 20 million of fuel. As I mentioned before, it takes about 1 minute to empty the bomb hatch, and that is 25 bombs. After that 1 minute, you have to go back to your airbase and load it up, and that takes time. Personally, what I do is to position 4 planes per airbase, so I can load them up quicker. However, one plane to be fully loaded takes 19 minutes. Therefore 4 planes, that is over an hour. And that is not all the bad news. Cost to load all 26 Hortens, that is just over 25 million of steel, 18 or nearly 19 million of aluminium, and just over 12 million of fuel. So again, to put it into perspective, if I want to take down fully loaded base with level 2 and level 3 Flaks, and obviously I would need to use breeders as well. If it wasn't for the fact that I need to load up the bombers every 2 Flaks, I would take that base down within 15 minutes. Now unfortunately, we do have to load it up, and that is the biggest disadvantage. Just because of that fact, the overall time to take that base down, and obviously this is assuming there are breeders always available and the enemy is not online, it's gonna take over 19 hours. Yes, you heard it right, 19 hours. And then there are the costs. To take down that base, the overall cost will be 380 million of steel, 282 million of aluminium, and 185 million of fuel. Now the fuel cost is only for the ammunition, so if you add also your travel fuel, it will be safe to say that overall fuel cost would be roughly about 200 millions. The amount of resources and time is simply no go in my opinion if you would consider using just Hortens. So this is it. It is a great fun with Hortens for the long run, especially if you have a large group number. But seemingly fast killing machines are simply too expensive and actually very slow if you consider the time of resources production and loading ammunition. By all means, test it for yourself, but I don't think it is worth spending the money. I had one more pleasure a few months back when I made 38 of them. I won't give you numbers here because I just don't remember, but I can tell you this. After each attack, I had to transfer some fuel over because they were draining me like crazy. At the same time, however, I was having great fun with them, and one of the most spectacular things I've done was to attack a home base with full 30 Flaks level 1. I had to use Bredas, of course, but 38 Hortens left, if I remember rightly, I think 1 or 2 Flaks after the attack. It was absolutely amusing to watch. Okay, that is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment section. I will do my best to answer them as precisely as I can. Subscribe to the channel and click the like if you in fact like this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you shortly.
Okay, I guess that's it then.
To all of my guys from old school, it looks like we're gonna have good fun with Silver Star Alliance. See you around.